Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and we're in the greenhouse. And now it's time to do a little bit of seeding. Now this morning I did a whole bunch of stuff. I cleaned out dead leaves. I harvested the broccoli again. I threw out some plants that were past their best of use by date. I cleared out several buckets, and I've been planning to plant or partially plant these buckets for a while. So the first thing I'm going to do is fix this bucket here. This bucket is a carrot bucket. The top has been roughed up again, and the usual refurbishment has been done. Now, when I refurbish a bucket, I'm renewing it. What I'll do is I'll add some more potting soil in it, and I'll add some slow-release organic fertilizer in it, and that just sort of rejuvenates the whole thing. Once I actually start watering, when the plants are up, I'll water obviously immediately. But when the plants are up, I'll start adding 20-20-20 and a micro boost, which makes certain that there are no micronutrients missing from the mix, because the potting soils, no matter what they promise you, we wouldn't be the first people to tell you that things didn't really go as well as they should have. And when we started adding additional fertilizer and additional things like the micro boost, all of a sudden the plants just were happy in comparison. I had a batch of old seeds. I had these Mokum seeds, and I had these Hercules seeds. The Mokums came up pretty well. It's not the best stand I've ever had, but it's okay. I'll leave it. We've got several carrots in here that are, half an inch in diameter right now. I'm just going to let it go. We have plenty of carrots in the refrigerator right now from the last harvest. I don't remember what they were. They were probably Hercules, but they could have been something else. These Hercules seeds were particularly old, but I decided to give them a try anyway. I've had very good luck with Hercules as a plant, and I thought, worst case, I don't get much germination. Well, what I did get was this bucket, I believe, is one of them that came in from outside. It would have had brassicas in it, which is something in the cabbage family. I don't remember whether this had cabbage or kohlrabi or Brussels sprouts or whatever in it. It doesn't matter. It's in the cabbage family. So switching to something like a carrot, which is the umbellifer family, okay, that's a good idea. We always like to switch up the families as much as we can between uses on the buckets, because it just helps in terms of the nutrient balance of the bucket, and also if there were any pests that particularly likes a particular family of plants, maybe we can eliminate that the next time go around. I planted the Hercules seeds, and it was really cold at the time, so germination was a little slow. Not shocking. I wasn't concerned about that. And then all of a sudden I had 5 or 6 seeds pop up, and I was like, okay, we're going. And then gradually, when a seed first pops up, you just see this little green thing and you're not sure what it is. And I was keeping this area covered completely because it was cold. And I was trying to keep the top moist, because carrots require extra moisture when they're germinating. And when I started looking closely, a week or so later, most of them were not carrots. They were weeds, which apparently had come in as weed seeds when it was out in the yard. Okay, so my actual carrots consists of 1 carrot, right in the middle. I have plenty of other carrot seeds. I have Hercules carrot seeds. These are new ones from Haas Tools that I picked up this year. I actually do still have some older ones, but I decided that I didn't want to play that game. I wanted to just have carrots. So these are untreated, unpelleted. They just look like itty-bitty caraway seeds is what they look like. I have to admit, I actually prefer pelleted carrot seeds because they're easier to handle. But sometimes you can get too wrapped up in that easy to handle stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a carrot seed in about every inch or two and just not worry about it. These should go in every about a quarter-inch deep. So I'm just going to make a little dent with my finger. And then if I decide that I need to add more soil, it's easy enough for me to sprinkle a little over the top. As you can see, this one carrot in the middle. Oh dear. I was not happy with that. I was okay with poor germination, but there's a difference between poor germination and almost no germination. In fairness, they were very old seeds. I don't even remember. These may have been pelleted seeds too. Pelleted seeds have a shorter lifespan because the process of pelleting them actually sort of makes the seed more fragile. Okay, there I have lots of little dots here. Now I'll put seeds in there. And I'm having trouble getting just one seed out. So I'm going to have to go back and scavenge a few of these seeds out of here, if I can, where I can. A lot of people would just tell you to cut them off. I hate cutting off plants, so I try not to overseed. I would rather underseed. We have to make this work, so we're going to. Eep. I just dropped like 3 seeds. That's better. This has very high germination rate. Not as high as some. It's got 82%. So if I have a couple of extra seeds in there, it's probably okay. Now this Haas new seeds have a resealable sticky area here. I'll be honest, I don't trust that sticky area no matter whose seed it is. So I always just refold the top and put a paper clip on it. I don't like the idea of seeds falling out. It drives me crazy. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of potting soil on the top of this. And we'll call it good. This pot was watered this morning. This is one of the things I'm always careful of when I'm using potting soil that has sticks in it, like Miracle-Gro does, and like most of them do these days. A couple of years ago, I bought some really supposed to be whiz-bang potting soil. And it was supposed to have great nutrition and stuff, and it did seem to, but oh my gosh, it was 4 times more expensive than this stuff is, and the stick factor in it was terrible. Drove me nuts. I spent my life picking out sticks. And while there's a few annoying ones in here, that one big one that I showed you is really the only one I had to pick out. So there. I'm going to water this guy good with my watering can. And I will probably put some row cover over the top of this. Well, I will show you what I'm talking about. Should have a loose piece back in the corner. Of course, I can't get to the corner because I have junk piled up in the corner right now. Let's see if I can do this without falling on my head. Still trying to keep the peppers that are in the corner here covered up, so it's messy because there's a pile of row cover there. There we go. There we go. Here we go. Now, this is row cover. It's a non-woven fabric designed specifically to transmit light, and if you're using it outside, it will let the rain come through and all that kind of stuff. But what it will do in this case is reduce the evaporation of that water. It won't hurt the one plant that's already up because it's not going to squash it to death. I'll lift it a teeny bit to give that one plant a little break, but that's going to make a big difference in terms of actually keeping the moisture in there. I will still probably take it off probably at least once a day and make sure I water it, because carrots are very picky about moisture. They have to have constant moisture while you're trying to germinate them. Otherwise, you'll get hard and non-germination. Or you'll get delayed germination, where it doesn't germinate for a couple of weeks when it gets a decent amount of water. Now, what else I'm going to do right now is I'm going to Sneak over here. This area here had some Nancy lettuce in it, which is in the daisy family. So I don't want to leave it naked. I have a broccoli that I stuffed over here because I was out of space in other buckets at the time. And then here's another lettuce. So broccoli is in the brassica family, cabbage family. And this being another lettuce is in the daisy family. So I am going to stick some radishes, which are in the brassica family. So this is brassica with brassica, but it's not a big deal. This pot has been used consistently for lettuce all winter, so I'm not too concerned about that. This is watermelon radish, and again, these need to be planted 1/4 of an inch deep. These are a seed that is 1/8 of an inch in diameter, and they're saying put them 4 inches apart. I am going to just sort of do an overall pattern like I would do in square foot gardening, where I'm creating a sort of a general pattern. Now, I'm not putting anything right in the middle there because that's where I'm going to be pouring the water once everybody's up. I'll use a watering can here to get these guys started, but I'll be watering the whole pot, and I'll always pour extra water right into that center to help maintain the water moisture in the pot, because it gets hot in here. So I'm going to plant these guys. These are much easier to handle than the carrot seeds because they're much bigger and they're round. So whereas carrot seeds are shaped kind of like a little caraway seed and they don't roll between your fingers, you could just kind of roll these guys out and they plop out really nicely. So very easy to plant. And there we go. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11 radishes in there. This pot had new potting soil and fertilizer put in this one area where the lettuce had been before. So we are now reconstituted. I need to find a paper clip for that. It goes over there. Paper clip. I made the labels for this ahead of time so I wouldn't have to fumble around. Something to remind people of is do not use regular Sharpie marker on your labels. People have all kinds of opinions on labels. My opinion is I want the label to survive until I'm done with the plant, and I want to be able to read the label. That means you do not use Sharpie marker. Sharpie marker will fade in the sun. Now, it may not be a big deal some places in the United States, but I'll tell you what, it's a nightmare in the southwestern United States because of our UV. So this is a garden marker, and it says garden marker for outdoor use. I think I got this one. Yeah, I got this one from Johnny's. I have another set from Hoss Tools. Ferry Morse sells some of theirs. I mean, you know, there's a bunch of companies that are selling these. They have a different ink inside them. They generally don't smell great. But then markers generally don't smell great. Or you love them, one of the two. But I buy my markers, and I do have a bunch of wooden ones. My last batch of stuff from Hoss Tools, when I bought the seed starting kit, came with a big batch of markers. If I use those, I will use them outside. My preference in a tight packed greenhouse environment where I need to be able to move around individual plants is to have a marker in every plant. I buy these cheaply on Amazon. I think I bought a pack of 2,000 or something like that because I was tired of fussing around with packs of 25, packs of 10, packs of 12, packs of, you know, that sort of stuff. It drives you crazy. You think you've got everything and all your ducks in a row, and you don't. A problem that I had a couple of years ago was I was out of the plastic ones. I did not have time to go down to the hydroponic store, which at that time of year was the only place I knew I could buy some. And because it's an hour drive, and sometimes you just don't feel like driving an hour for some labels. So I grabbed some popsicle sticks that somebody had gifted me for craft stuff. And oh boy, was that a problem. They got moldy. They got really, really moldy. Most of your craft sticks like that are made in China. Could I have treated them so that they wouldn't have been moldy? Oh, I could have probably soaked them in Clorox and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, no. I don't mind Clorox. It has its place in the world. As somebody who used to carry a federal license for running factories, I understand the use and disuse and misuse of Clorox and other chemicals. But in my garden, I prefer to keep it as natural as possible. These, though they are very cheap labels, usually last me at least 2 seasons, and recognize that a season for us is year-round. So that's 2 years, 2 chronological years. So say, 2000 and 2001 or something like that. We grow all year round in here. Every one of these pots, or most of them at least, have a label in them, because I want to know exactly the variety. If I have a specific problem with a specific variety, I want to know what the variety was. So my Hercules carrots have a label in there that was left over from before. The Mokum carrots do have a wooden label in them. I think these were Haas Tools ones. I have not had any trouble with them. My only complaint about some of the wood labels is that they're huge.